Most hackers aren't coding geniuses. Most of them can't even explain how encryption actually works if you ask them at a party. What they're actually good at is something way simpler and way scarier. They're good at getting you to trust them for about 6 seconds. That's it. 6 seconds is usually all it takes. Let me show you 4 completely real ways this plays out, and by the end of this, you're going to be side-eyeing every random message you've ever gotten. Story 1. The fake delivery text. It's a Thursday. Jordan is expecting a package, some random online order from 2 weeks ago that Jordan honestly forgot about. A text comes in. Your package couldn't be delivered due to an incomplete address. Update your details here to avoid return to sender. Totally normal looking link. Totally normal looking message. Jordan doesn't even think about it, clicks it, types in an address, and while doing that, accidentally types in a card number too, because the fake site conveniently asked for delivery verification. There's no actual package, there never was. It's just a message sent to thousands of random numbers, betting that a decent chunk of people are expecting some delivery at any given moment, because who isn't? No hacking skill required, just a decent guess and a slightly urgent tone. The brilliance of this attack, if you can even call it that, is how it banks on probability. The attacker doesn't need to know Jordan specifically. They don't need to have researched anything. They just send this message to 10,000 random numbers, knowing that at any given moment, thousands of people are waiting for deliveries. It's like casting the world's laziest fishing net and being amazed at how many fish swim into it willingly. And Jordan isn't stupid. Jordan is just doing what any normal person would do in the middle of a busy day. You get a message about something you're expecting, you handle it. Your brain doesn't run a security audit on every single interaction. It runs on efficiency. Story 2. The fake IT call. Priya works at a mid-sized company. Her phone rings. Caller ID says IT support because caller ID can be faked ridiculously easily, which most people don't even know. The voice on the other end sounds stressed, professional, slightly annoyed even, exactly like a real IT guy who's had a long day. Hey, we're seeing suspicious activity on your account. I need to verify your login real quick so we can lock it down before it gets worse. The urgency does all the work here. Priya doesn't want to be the reason the whole system gets compromised, so she gives the info fast, wanting to help, wanting to be the responsible one. There was no suspicious activity. There was no IT guy. There was just someone who understood that fear moves faster than logic. And here's what's wild about this one. Priya's company probably spent thousands of dollars on cybersecurity training. Priya probably sat through a whole presentation about not giving out information over the phone. But none of that matters when someone calls with authority in their voice and the promise of a disaster you can prevent. Your instinct to help overrides your training. Your instinct to not be the problem person overrides your caution. The hacker isn't exploiting a weakness in the system. They're exploiting a feature of human nature. They're using the fact that Priya cares about her job, cares about not being the person who caused the breach, and that care is all they need. Story 3. The dropped USB drive. This one's almost funny because of how simple it is. A hacker walks into a parking lot outside an office building and just drops a USB drive on the ground near the entrance. Just leaves it there. Someone finds it. Curiosity kicks in immediately, because that's just how humans work. They plug it into their work computer, purely to see what's on it, maybe to figure out who it belongs to so they can return it. The second it's plugged in, it quietly installs something in the background. No warning, no pop-up, nothing dramatic. Just a tiny program running silently, waiting. The hacker never even had to talk to anyone, never sent a single message, just relied on the fact that humans are curious, and curiosity, it turns out, is an extremely reliable vulnerability. This is almost elegant in how crude it is. A hacker didn't need to crack anything, didn't need to find a zero-day exploit, didn't need to know the internal network architecture. They just needed to understand that when you find a mysterious object, your first instinct isn't "this could be dangerous," it's "I wonder what this is." And the really messed up part? The person who found it was actually trying to be responsible. They were thinking, "I should figure out who this belongs to so I can return it." That's literally good instinct being exploited. Being a decent human was the vulnerability. Story 4. The fake boss email. An employee named Diego gets an email that looks like it's from his manager. Same name, slightly different email address, but close enough that nobody's really checking that carefully in the middle of a busy morning. "Hey, I'm stuck in back-to-back meetings. Can you send me the client list real quick? Need it before my next call." Diego doesn't want to be the guy who makes his manager wait. He sends it. Simple as that. No system was broken into. No password was stolen. Just a request that sounded exactly urgent enough and exactly normal enough to not question. And this is the thing nobody talks about. Diego's doing his job well. He's responsive. He's not the person who makes things slow. He's efficient. And that efficiency, that good quality that makes him valuable in his workplace, is being weaponized against him. The hacker didn't find a flaw in Diego. They found a strength and turned it into a vulnerability. 4 completely different situations. 0 actual hacking skill involved in any of them. Completely different circumstances. Completely different people. Completely different targets. And yet 0 actual hacking skill involved in any of them. No cracked passwords. No broken firewalls. No genius code typed at lightning speed like in a movie. Every single one of these worked because of the same 3 ingredients: urgency, familiarity, and trust. Urgency, because a rushed brain skips the verification steps it normally wouldn't. A tired mind doesn't run background checks. A stressed person doesn't pause to think. Fear accelerates you toward action, and that acceleration is where mistakes happen. Familiarity, because a message that looks like it comes from somewhere normal, somewhere expected, gets almost 0 scrutiny. Your brain sees a delivery notification and thinks package, not threat. Your phone sees a caller ID that says IT support and treats it like legitimate authority, not deception. Familiarity is camouflage. And trust, because humans are fundamentally wired to help each other, to be efficient, to not be the annoying person who questions everything. We want to be good employees. We want to be helpful. We want to be the kind of people who don't cause problems. And that desire, that basic human decency, is something hackers understand better than almost anyone. Hackers know this better than cybersecurity engineers do. They've studied it. They've perfected it. The actual technical hacking, the stuff you see in movies with green code flying across a screen and fingers flying over keyboards, that's honestly a tiny fraction of how real breaches happen. Most real breaches happen because someone got tired, someone got busy, someone got a message that sounded normal, and they did the thing. The scale of this problem. Companies spend millions of dollars on firewalls, encryption, security software, all of it built to stop technical attacks. Banks have security systems that would make a government facility jealous. Large corporations hire entire teams of security specialists. And then someone gets in because an intern replied to a text that looked slightly official. And here's what really keeps me up at night. It keeps working. Over and over and over. It works on completely different people, in completely different industries, across completely different countries. And it keeps working because the vulnerability isn't in the technology. The vulnerability is in the basic fact of being human and having a busy life. It's insulting if you think about it. All that security technology, all those brilliant minds building unbreakable systems, taken down by basically the digital version of someone in a fake uniform saying, "I'm just here to check the water meter." A tired brain beats military-grade encryption every single time. The actually unsettling part. This isn't about being bad with technology. Smart people fall for this constantly. Security experts have fallen for this. People with PhDs in computer science have fallen for this. People whose entire job is to prevent this exact thing have fallen for this. It's not about intelligence. It's not about being careless. It's not about being gullible or naive. It's about being human, being busy, and being wired to trust. Think about your own day. Think about how many decisions you make without really thinking about them. How many times something pops up and you just handle it because you're in the middle of something else. How many times someone asks you for something and you help without running a full background check on their request. That's not a weakness. That's actually what makes society function. We can't verify every single thing. We can't question every person. We can't run security protocols on every interaction. We'd never get anything done. But here's the problem. Hackers understand that. They understand that the system only works if most people are trustworthy most of the time. And they know that means there's always a gap. Always a moment where someone is busy enough or trusting enough or just normal enough to slip through. The next time you get a message that feels slightly urgent, slightly official, slightly click this real quick. That tiny pause before you react, that's actually the most valuable 3 seconds you have. Hackers aren't hoping you're careless. They're not betting that you're stupid. They're hoping you're normal, busy, trusting, human. Because those are the people who keep this working. What you actually need to know. Here's what most people don't realize. You don't need to be paranoid to protect yourself. You just need to be slightly more methodical than the urgency being presented to you. Because urgency is the tool. Urgency is what breaks the chain. When someone says real quick or before my next meeting or avoid return to sender, what they're doing is trying to speed up your decision-making process. And faster decision-making means less verification. So the first rule, when something feels urgent, slow down. Not in an obvious way. Not in a way that makes you paranoid. Just slightly slower than the situation is pushing you to be. When you get a text about a delivery, take an extra 10 seconds to check if you're actually expecting something. When you get a call from IT support, take an extra minute to hang up and call back the official number. When you get an email from your boss asking for something unusual, send a quick message back using a different method asking to confirm. These aren't paranoid behaviors, these are just basic verification. And the beautiful thing is, legitimate situations can handle verification. If your boss actually needs that client list, they'll be fine with you confirming the request. If it's a real delivery notification, it'll hold up to a quick check. Fake ones, they can't. Because the moment you add even one extra verification step, the whole thing falls apart. The fake caller can't give you back an official number. The fake email can't be confirmed by the actual boss. The fake delivery link doesn't actually connect to a real tracking system. The email address thing. Okay, this one specifically deserves its own section because it's wild how often it works. People don't look at email addresses carefully, like not even close to carefully enough. You get an email that looks like it's from supportapple.com and your brain just reads Apple support and stops. You don't mentally register that supportapple.com is not the same as support.apple.com. One character, one dash instead of a dot, but that one character is the difference between actually being Apple and being a completely fake domain that someone registered specifically for this attack. And you know what's crazy? This works on smart people. It works on security professionals. It works on people who literally know about this attack and have trained others to avoid it. Because email addresses aren't natural. Your brain reads them for meaning, not precision. Your brain sees Apple and registers that pattern, even if technically it's reading Apple fake or something. So look at email addresses, specifically at the domain, not just the sender name, the actual domain after the @ symbol. And if you're not 100% sure, don't click anything. Just go to the website directly, type the URL in yourself, and access whatever you need to access from there. The phone call thing. Caller ID can be faked. Most people don't know this, but it's true. Someone can make it look like your bank is calling. They can make it look like your company's IT department is calling. They can make it look like literally anyone is calling. So here's the rule. If someone calls you asking for sensitive information, never give it. Not because they're definitely a scammer, but because legitimate companies don't work this way. Your bank won't call you asking for your password. Your IT department won't call asking for your login credentials. If they need something like that, they have other ways to verify it. And if you're unsure, here's the safest move. Hang up and call them back. Don't use the number they gave you. Don't use a number from the caller ID, which might be faked anyway. Look up the official number of the company, call that number directly, and ask if anyone from that department was trying to reach you. Will this sometimes be awkward? Maybe. Maybe you'll call back and it turns out it was legitimate and you'll feel a little silly. But you know what's worse? Getting your identity stolen or your company getting breached because you were too polite to verify. The USB drive thing. If you find a USB drive, leave it alone. Not to be rude about it, but seriously, don't plug it in. Don't try to figure out who it belongs to by looking at the files. Don't think you're being helpful. Just leave it. If it's a work environment and you find one, take it to IT. Let them deal with it. That's their job. But don't plug it into any computer that has access to anything important. And if you're at home and find one, it doesn't belong to you. It's not a mystery to solve. Plug it into an old computer that's not connected to anything, if you're curious, but better yet, just leave it. Because this attack specifically banks on your good instincts. You find something, and you want to help. You want to figure out who it belongs to. Those are good qualities. But in this case, those good qualities are exactly what the attacker is counting on. The request from authority thing. If someone in a position of authority, your boss, a manager, an executive suddenly asks you for something unusual via email, especially something sensitive, take an extra step. The most natural thing is to just do it, because they're your boss. But add one more step. Email them back, or better yet, text or call them directly, and say something like, "Got your email. Just want to confirm before I send this over." Most of the time it's legitimate, and they're fine with that. But when it's not, when it's a fake email pretending to be them, that extra confirmation will catch it immediately. Because the person sending the fake email doesn't have access to your boss's actual phone, or the ability to confirm in real time. This one step prevents so many breaches, and it's so simple. You're not being rude, you're not being paranoid, you're just being professional and careful. the pattern you're going to start seeing everywhere. Once you understand how this works, you're going to notice it constantly. Every text that seems slightly urgent, every email that asks you to click something, every call that seems slightly official. You're going to start seeing the same pattern over and over. Urgency, familiarity, trust. And that's actually a good thing. Not because you're becoming paranoid, but because you're finally starting to see how people are actually attacked. And spoiler alert, it's not how it happens in movies. There's no hacker in a dark room typing code. There's no moment where someone breaks into a fortress of security. There's just a message that seems normal enough to not question, sent at a time when you're busy enough to not verify, asking for something you're trusting enough to provide. And that pattern, once you see it, you can't unsee it. You start to notice when messages are designed to make you hurry. You start to catch the little inconsistencies. You start to pause for those extra few seconds. The most unsettling truth of all: you are the security system, not the software, not the firewalls, not the encryption. You. Your attention is the antivirus program. Your skepticism is the firewall. Your pause before clicking is the security audit. Companies spend millions on technology to protect you, and then a human on the other end decides to trust someone for 6 seconds and it all falls apart. Because technology can't protect you from yourself. Technology can't stop you from being human. But you can. You can protect yourself. Not by being paranoid. Not by not trusting anyone. Not by being the person who questions every single thing and makes everything slow and difficult. Just by being slightly more careful than the urgency being presented to you. Just by taking an extra 5 seconds to verify something that feels slightly off. Just by remembering that hackers are betting on you being too busy to think and refusing to be that busy. What happens when you know this? Here's what changes once you really understand how this works. You'll notice when an email is written in a slightly different tone than usual. You'll see when a text is asking for something unusual. You'll hear the urgency in a voice on the phone and think, wait, why am I being rushed? You'll become the kind of person who says, let me just double check that real quick, and people will probably think you're just being careful. And you'll be preventing breaches. You'll be the person at work who asks, is this the right way to handle this? And sometimes people will roll their eyes, but you'll also be the person who doesn't accidentally give away the entire client database. You'll be the one who slows down slightly, and that slight slowdown will be the thing that saves you. And honest to God, in a world where everything is designed to be faster and more frictionless and more trustworthy, being slightly slow and slightly skeptical is actually a superpower. The final thing. The next time someone sends you a message, you're going to think about Jordan with the fake delivery. You're going to remember Priya on the phone with a fake IT guy. You're going to think about that poor person who found a USB drive trying to be helpful. And you're going to remember that most breaches aren't complicated. They're just normal people doing normal things, trusting people who look normal, in situations that look normal. Hackers aren't hoping you're stupid. They're hoping you're exactly as smart and trusting and efficient as you are right now. And your job isn't to become paranoid. Your job is just to be slightly slower. That's it. That's the whole secret. Be slightly slower than the urgency being presented to you. Because those 6 seconds, those are the 6 seconds that matter.